Hi, this is me. In this video, I'm going to share a mixing session. The song is called "It's Easy to Love You" by David Tyo. Tyo. Okay, so this is how this song sounds without any mixing. This is how it sounds after mixing it.
Oh, you were the risk and the reward, but every day you gave me reasons to believe, and I believe that it's so easy to love you. It's so easy to love you. I would run out of ink trying to write a list of reasons. It's so easy to love you.
Okay, so now I'll share how I mix this song. Okay, so this is how my kick sounds without any processing. This is the EQ and the compressor. And this is how my snare sounds without any processing. With EQ, just the EQ, I have not used any other compressor. Just a little bit of reverb, which was I think not required. Okay, let's move on to the other sound, which I think is overheads. This is how the overhead sounds, which is panned to the right. This is the EQ and the reverb. Let's move on to the other sound, which I think are the snaps. Okay, so this is how the snap sounds without any plugin. This is the EQ and the reverb. I have not used any other saturation or compressor. Now let's move on to the tambourine and shaker sound. This is how the tambourine sounds without EQ, pan to the left, and the EQ, the reverb on the right. Let's move on to the shakers. This is the sound of shaker without EQ, with EQ and the reverb on the left. This is how both tambourine and shaker sounds together. Let's move on to the other sounds. And now we have got this sound of drum roll. This is the EQ and the compression, just that. Now we have got three claps. One is panned left, the other is in the center, and the third one is on the right. This is how these clap sounds without EQ, with EQ and the reverbs. Okay, now I'll show you how these all drum sounds together in the drum bus. So this is how this drum bus sounds. All the sound is coming into this drum bus. Without EQ, it sounds like this. With the sound equalizer on, it sounds like this. And with this hard compressor, this sounds like this. Let me increase the volume. without them, with them. Okay, so now I'll show you how these string section sounds, which is mostly consists of guitars. This is a cello, and these are the plugins that I've used. All these guitars and pianos and banjo is sending its signal to this string bus, and there I've used this compressor. First I'll show you how these sounds individually. Let me turn off all this reverb. This is how this cello sounds without EQ. With EQ, saturation, and the compressor. Now let's move on to the guitars, and this guitar is panned to the left. This is how it sounds without EQ. This is the EQ, saturation, and the compressor. Moving on to the other guitars. This guitar is panned to the right. First some saturation, then the EQ and the compressor. Both these guitars together with the reverb on. Let's move on to the other sets of guitar. This guitar is panned to the left. This sounds like this. Without EQ, with EQ. Should have been done like this. And the saturation, compressor with the reverb. Let's move on to the other guitar, and this guitar is panned to the extreme right. This is how it sounds without EQ. First some saturation, then EQ, and the compressor. Both of these guitars together with the reverb. Let's move on to the other sounds. So we have got this banjo pan to the left. This is how it sounds. Some saturation, without saturation, with saturation, and the EQ, compressor, and a guitar and a piano sound. Now we have got this piano pan to the right. This is how it sounds. First saturation, then EQ, and the compressor. Let's move to the another banjo sound. Okay, so this banjo is panned left. This is how it sounds without anything. This is the saturation, without saturation, with saturation, and the parametric EQ. Now let's move on to the last guitar. So we have this guitar panned right. This is how it sounds without EQ. Saturation, and the compressor with reverb. Okay, so all these instruments are sent to this bus where I've used this compressor to compress the sound of all these instruments. Let's listen to it, how it sounds. Okay, so this is how all these instruments sounds in the bus, instrument bus. First without the compressor, and after the compression. Okay, now let's move on to the background vocals. Okay, so in the background vocals we have got this so many background vocals, almost 6 tracks. I'll not show you separately, but I'll show you in a single go. So this is how this background vocal sounds without any plugins and reverb.
All the pages of our lives are turning, all the words are through being written. You can bet your bottom dollar that the story that it tells
And
is
after the
finished.
EQ and saturation,
'Cause the words just don't exist to put to when all the pages of our lives are turning,
without the EQ and saturation,
through being written.
with it,
You can bet your bottom
and the reverbs.
that the story that it tells is left unfinished. 'Cause the words just don't exist to put to paper all the ways I'm gonna love you. When all the pages of our lives are turning, all the words are through being written.
Okay, so let's move on to the lead vocals. Okay, so this is how this lead vocal sounds without any plugins.
I didn't mean to fall in love with you. I didn't know you had the key. But won't you unlock every
Without
chamber in my heart, please?
With EQ,
And I'm still learning how to love you.
then saturation,
And I'm sure I always will. But I'm glad we took this chance on
And the
greener
compressor.
sides. Oh, you were the risk and the reward.
and
But
a
every
reverb.
day you gave me reasons to believe that it's so easy to love you.
and then this vocal is being fed here in the patcher where I've used room reverb and hall reverb, which sounds like this.
I didn't mean to fall in love with you.
This is the short room reverb,
I didn't know you had the key.
and this is the hall reverb.
But won't you unlock every chamber in my heart, please?
This is the slap delay,
And I'm still learning how to love you. And I'm sure
With it.
I always will. But I'm glad we took this chance on
Without it.
greener sides. Oh, you were the risk and the reward. But every day you gave me
And this
reasons
wider.
to believe
that's
that
all.
it's so easy to love you. It's so
With the s-
easy to love
with the song
you.
together.
I would run out of ink trying to write a list of reasons. It's so easy to love you. We met again, instantly friends, both forgetting how we started or how we'd end up.
Okay, so in the masters I have got this plugins. First, this pre-box
And it took some time to figure
Without it.
out.
with it,
It was so much simpler than it seemed to be.
the
But
mid-side
I'm glad
patcher.
we took this chance on greener side.
This is the mono sound.
Oh, you were the risk
Only
and
the mono sound.
reward.
It sounds
But
good even in
every
mono.
day you
This is the stereo sound. Only mono.
It's so easy
Both
to
together.
love you. I would run out of ink
And this
trying to write a
Maximus.
list of reasons. It's so easy to love you.
This is the settings for the lows, bass,
Been written.
the mids, the highs,
Tales is left
master.
unfinished. 'Cause the words just don't exist to put to paper all the ways I'm gonna love you.
this soft clipper,
'Cause
which I
it's
normally
so
don't use.
easy to love you. It's so, and it took some time to figure out.
This master's off
It was so much simpler than it seemed
and mastering
to be.
on.
But I'm glad we took this chance on greener sides. Oh, you were the risk and the reward.
I think it sounds good.
But every day you gave me reasons to believe. And I believe that it's so easy to love you.
Okay, so that was a simple process of mixing that I always do. Not much of compression. Sometimes I'm just good to go with my EQ, nothing more. I always use saturation and EQ. With just that I tend to get good sound. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you like the mix. I don't do much fancy stuff, as you have seen in my other videos also. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like it. Give me a thumbs up if you really. Subscribe to the channel and watch other videos like this on my channel. This is me signing off. Goodbye. Keep learning. Enjoy practicing. Thank you so much.